But yeah, someone whispered me in the game asking for help and advice on how to play. When I tell them to tune in to Jawgeous' stream or other guys on YouTube, he tells me he doesn't watch streams. Well, he needs to start watching, dude. Okay, I've caught up with my chat now. All right, let's have a look. Now, I'm going to do this really, really quick because obviously people have been requesting that I don't cover builds for too long. Obviously, we want to watch Luana's perspective here because we don't have any Mesmer perspectives in the series. So I will be coming back to this. But they have Magoku, who is on Frenzy Spellbreaker. Tibbs on also Frenzy Spellbreaker, so double duelist. The one is obviously playing the Scepter Pistol build. Entity playing the Elixir X Hollow. Azza is on the... this is like a hybrid red sword shield. Frenzy Spellbreak, Standard, Esprit playing the Firebrand support. And then triple-rev all playing the same build. So sword, staff. Okay, so Luana is playing Set the Pistol with Staff, I do believe, for the sustainability element of Staff. That obviously, like, you know, you get the Aegis uptime on the Chaos Storm, you get the Phantasms on the 3, you get the Retreat on the 2, and of course, it's just a very quick way of passively generating Phantasms and clones, correct? So the Wanderer's Amulet is based on condition damage, of course. You have high crit, some toughness for sustainability, and expertise for... Wait, why is he running Rooted Nightmare?
Red team got a capture point.
Deliver an attack that transfers a condition and blinds nearby enemies after using elite skill. Is he really going to be using Jaunt offensively? Why that feels like such a poor decision. That doesn't synergize. Wait, what?
Blue team grabbed the capture point.
So he has Deceptive, he has Bountiful Disillusionment, Care of the Damning. That's just that's really thrown me off. Okay, fair enough. So anyway, Illusionary Ambush, so does have Disengage on an evade frame. Oh wait, no, actually no, that does synergize, because he's going to be able to shatter on the F2 with the Jaunt as he jaunts into his opponent, so he will gain from that. No, that's actually good synergy. That's good synergy. I take that back. So, as you can see, he is rotating as a rotational +1. He could be, you could actually say that he could be a bruiser because of how much kit he gains on the, the set the 2 block. He does have stuns, so he has the pistol 5, the staff and the retreat. You can retreat through your chaos field to gain your chaos armor. And you obviously have chaos armor on 4 as well. You can see that as soon as he swaps weapons, he's very, very quickly going through his abilities. There's not really one thing that always happens with Mirage is that you pretty much just use all of your kits straight away. You very rarely cycle things slowly because it's got such low cooldown. They did change the magic bullet for the stun duration, right? So if I can't remember what trait they changed. If it's actually here, is it? Did they change the Scepter, the Pistol 5, or by default, or was it a trait change? Because I can't remember. So bleeding still there, that's the standard. I remember they changed blinding dissipation, so now the blind is only on the F2, right? So that still stuns for 2.5 seconds.
Did you see that? Red team
Daze for
got a
2.
capture point.
It was baseline? Okay, so that hasn't changed that much. I know that they made a change regarding stuns now. So Diversion, for example, has a... if you run a specific trait, it can stun for up to 6 seconds as you stagger the stun. I'm surprised he's not running that, but then I guess he can't run all the trait lines simultaneously. The red team are obviously doing a better job, by the way, of withstanding the 3 revs compared to the last game. In fact, they're winning. So they do have the double offensive spellbreaker that it kind of forces the blue team to spread out, right? Because they're going to be putting themselves on side nodes with the double rev, the double warrior, and as there's no way of getting everybody into a single location. And if the red team stick to that, then they'll win this game because they're going to be forced to answer to things like the Skyhammer for the reset. And the red team can just out-rotate them on their sustains. So, okay, so go straight into the Aegis, leaps back through it for extended Chaos Armor. Actually, I think Line of Sight fucked him on the Scepter 3. Gets the stun on the pistol 5, follows up with the pistol 4. Again, using about face, I'm sure here. I can't prove that, but I'm pretty sure he was using about face to make sure that he landed the Phantasmal Duelist as he disengaged. And you can see, look, these abilities all have, they're all like pretty quick recast times. So very quick succession use of skills is not a bad thing for Mirage. Constantly moving. Back in mid to create pressure on his Intrex. Gonna wait for full counter before using the pistol 5. Nemals gets stunned by Tibbs as soon as he engages, and they get the Greatsword 2. They actually get the interrupt on Esprit as well. Huge. Uses the blink. Oh wait, that was Illusionary Ambush. I stand corrected. It was Illusionary Ambush to prevent the knockdown there. And now straight away disengaging once more as part of rotation. So looking to go towards the node that they don't own. They know that C is already answered to. Luana's not looking to 1v1 anybody. Of course, they see that, you know, Atlante's like getting the decap here. But it's not actually the focus of Luana. You know, using the momentum of the condition output and the stuns is more than sufficient. But you can see, look, I want to show like how much damage is actually being done by Luana. So as these players move around after like eating a full combo, you'll see. I'm pretty sure it's around like 900 damage ticks of bleeds and around like 1,000 damage of torment. Secures the node, disengages away straight out using the blink, and did use the phase retreat there as well as part of that disengage. Or was it Illusionary Ambush? I can't remember. They look similar. So pushing into the far node, sorry, the close node, the C node. So because there's nobody here, it does make sense for Luana to make this push because they have the highest mobility kit. If anybody comes to answer Luana, Luana's probably going to be forced to disengage, or could probably answer to one player, but no more than one. So we do actually see Atlante coming in here to push into Luana. Now, one thing to note is that Revenant sucks into conditions. So if Luana plays this correctly and kites Atlante appropriately, then it will be one. However, you do see that there is yet another Revenant waiting to rotate in towards Luana. Gets the last second of Chaos Aura there. It's not called Chaos Armor anymore, is it? It's Chaos Aura. I forgot that they did that. Luana should have waited there, I think. So Luana used the blink as soon as the Sword 3 was on their person. And if you wait until like the end of the cast of the Sword 3, then you can teleport away afterwards and leave the Revenant where they stand and then disengage. But I guess it was just the, you know, they had to. I'm not sure that they saw the Sword 3 being used. So, okay, blue team are obviously utilizing momentum here. However, red team are back in play. Nemals has gone down off the Skyhammer. Sorry, not off the Skyhammer, off the midpoint. I'm actually really surprised how the pressure is not being... they're not being overrun by the pressure of the blue team. Because there's just so much unblockable damage going out. They're playing it so smart with the rotation. Right, so like you see how the red team are forcing these side node fights. They're not really interested in these mid nodes. They're just trying to extend it for as long as possible. Of course, like Azza is running the sustain build with Retribution and the Dome of the Mist, etc. Just the sheer sustain that comes out from the kit is actually enough to answer to the blue team pressure. And the more you have of that, the more instances of like smart play that you have like that, the longer it's going to take them to kill you. And then all the red team have to do is prioritize the side node play. Because the red team have to like focus on their mobility as well, you know, in playing around each other and using the sheer damage of the 3 Revenants collectively, they're not really rotating. So they're not even looking at this node that's constantly capped. You know, Zintrex is being forced to answer to Tibbs, and then they pressure that with additional, pressure from Z-Heart, and that in itself is just cucking them. So all they have is Esprit and the triple-rev in this mid-fight, and then they're just drawing it out. So blue have actually rotated in and got the Skyhammer. I think that was picked up by Zintrex. Zintrex now pushing in towards A to relieve the pressure here again. So now that we know where the like game is going with the sort of like 300-300. There's Luana, who was obviously picking the fight into Tiny there. Infused Light does go off. Blinks through the floor, and now engaging in a 3v1 in the mid. So they're actually they're out rotating the actual pressure of the blue team. So they're trying to stay ahead of actually the rotation comp, which is smart again. Like they're rotating before anybody on the blue team actually answers to it. So they can constantly like have higher numbers into engagements on side nodes. So again, the only reason I think that the red team are just like maintaining this sort of constant passive pressure is just because the blue team aren't rotating. So Luana's presence has pushed out Adelante, using terrain to continue to apply pressure with clones and phantasms. Button mashing. Illusionary ambush to disengage immediately as soon as pressured. And I think because Tibbs went down there, that was an answer to Luana to just get the fuck out. So now prioritizing the engagement on Esprit as a rotational +1 to pressure the Firebrand away from the mid and hopefully create map pressure that way. Renewed focus usage of the Firebrand guarantees neutrality, and now Luana can actually exit again, because Luana's not really interested in killing the Firebrand because Luana obviously does condition damage. So that's going to be answered to like easily by Esprit. There's absolutely no point in engaging that. So once again, just sort of hanging around, analyzing the map, forces Limao's Yuchia to use the Infused Light, baits out the defensive cooldown of the Revenant, then engages on the +1 in his Intrex. So constantly looking for these very quick movements around the map to engage in 2v1. Does have the Boon Strip there as well for Arcane Thievery, slows Intrex down a lot. Rampage forced, Luana gets straight out with the Illusionary Ambush. So there's, again, Luana being smart because Luana doesn't want to engage in the battle when he knows that Esprit is there. So Esprit brings this counter condition application, so there's just no point. Whenever so Luana is just kind of trying to stay away from wherever Esprit is and forcing Esprit to answer to that. As they force the Firebrand to rotate and answer to the pressure of Luana, look, straight away, going straight back to the node where the pressure can be brought in the +1. As soon as, like, that there's that counter pressure, Luana is very aware of that and answers to it. So here we go. Additional pressure coming out as Intrex forces all of the defensive capabilities out. Greatsword 3 was used. I believe that was Bull's charge as well as part of Zintrex's kit to avoid damage. Full counter procced. Now they have ability to do damage. Shield 5 as well. Greatsword 3 is going to be coming back up as well. Forces him away from the node, and Luana's done their job. So this is, again, smart play. Constantly moving, constantly looking for where the damage and where the pressure is going to be most utilized. Rotates in the mid. We'll actually probably get on node and maintain this for as long as possible. Actually, straight up disengages to just create some damage pressure. So using the phase retreat to gain some phantasms to apply some damage. Gets re-engaged on. Dodges the Staff 5. Gets the stun with the Pistol 5. Standing on the edge to kind of debate the Revenant off. Illusionary Ambush, Phase Reversal. Dawn. Last dodge roll. Doesn't have anything left. Needs a weapon swap, really. Or yeah, so literally used every little bit of disengage kit that they could. Needed like 1 second to get the False Oasis off. And, 3 seconds on the weapon swap to actually gain the Scepter 2. Or even, like, to try and answer with damage. So they bleed Luana out very slowly, but to be honest, it's too late for the blue team because the C node is still being owned. Mugoku's there to answer to the attempted neutrality by the Firebrand. And mid node is still capped by the hybrid Revenant. So, yeah, smart play. The answer to the rotational pressure with a lot of sustainability and combine that with, like, a counter to Revenants, which is a lot of condition damage. So, smart play. Smart choice of the team comp, I think. I'm not sure whether or not they actually changed that on purpose. I think they were running something similar to this beforehand, so maybe it's just happened to be a better setting, but it was very, very close nonetheless. And I'm glad that I got to showcase how a Mesmer can rotate and use the weapon choice appropriately, especially when trying to answer to the pressure of 3 Revenants. Good use of defensive shit there. And all they did was spread them out. They spread out the Revenants and then force them into small-scale engagements. And then Luana was actually doing a really good job of actually forcing the Firebrand to kite. So I think that's where they gained their advantage from. But 14-minute game nonetheless.